One thing that came to my mind as Graci was talking was the kind of parable of the Mexican fisherman. Do you guys know that one?
No. I don't think so.
I'm going to read it just because it made me think of it. So it goes like this. An American investment banker was at the pier of a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of his fish and asked how long it took to catch them. The Mexican man replied, "Only a little while." The American then asked, why didn't he stay out longer and catch more fish? The Mexican said that he had enough to support his family's immediate needs. And the American asked, "But what do you do with the rest of your time?" The fisherman said, "I sleep late, I fish a little, I play with my children, I take siestas with my wife, I stroll into the village each evening, we sip wine and I play guitar with my friends. I have a full and busy life." The American scoffed. He says, "I'm a Harvard MBA and I could help you. You should spend more time fishing with the proceeds and buy a bigger boat. With the proceeds from the bigger boat, you could buy several boats. Eventually, you would have a whole fleet of fishing boats. Instead of selling your catch to a middleman, you would sell directly to the processor, eventually opening up your own cannery. You would control the product, processing, and distribution. You would need to leave this small coastal fishing village and move to Mexico City and then LA and eventually New York City, where you will run your expanding enterprise." The Mexican fisherman asked, "But how long will this all take?" To which the American replied, 15 to 20 years. "But what then?" asked the Mexican. The American laughed and said, "Well, that's the best part. When the time is right, you would announce an IPO and sell your company stock to the public and become very rich. You would make millions." "Millions? And then what?" The American said, "Then you would retire. You would move to a small coastal fishing village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take siestas with your wife, stroll to the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play your guitar with your friends." And it's just this idea of like, here's a man who found his passion and was living it out, right? And like, and I don't know, whatever you were saying just jogged that in my mind and felt relevant to like the pursuit of passion versus the pursuit of success. And I know we've kind of gotten off topic in terms of like the landscape of things right now, but it was interesting enough.
Yeah.
No, I think it's relevant. And is it weird of me to love that Harvard MBA's plan? I was dreaming of that IPO stuff. I'm just kidding.
I think the value of having, multiple things that you are passionate about, that you do want to put your time into, is that it all helps you. And I think one of you guys were saying this earlier, is like it all benefits your main focus, right? It's like, as a writer, I can't just depend on my own knowledge, right? I have to be pulling from everywhere all the time. Like, I've learned so much working with Votary, working with Jamin in filmmaking. I've been able to see like the similarities between writing and filmmaking and like the processes and everything, and like there's so much content that can come out of that, right? And without knowledge of like, painting or culinary or whatever, like I wouldn't be able to, enhance my own, like my primary craft, my primary passion. Mm-hmm. It all like feeds into it. So just something I've thought about a lot.
I almost feel
like subscribe, bell, right here, point, like just say, yeah, slap that subscribe, smack it, smash that subscribe, smash that